All right, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Modern Merchant Podcast. I'm your host, Ben Frank, VP of Marketing at Flxpoint. Today, we are joined by Shaun and Clay from Screen Skinz. We got it's co-founder and CEO with Shaun, and then co-founder and chief product officer with Clay. So really appreciate you guys taking the time to join. It's going to be an exciting episode to hear a little bit about Screen Skinz and what you guys are doing, and obviously your journey with Flxpoint. But I think let's go ahead and kick off and give our audience an idea of what your company's all about. So if you can provide a quick overview.
Yeah, no, first off, Ben, no, thank you. Thank you for having us and thinking of our company to kind of spotlight what you guys have been doing for us. So essentially, Screen Skinz, we're the world's first lifestyle screen protector brand. So what we do is we combine premium screen protection with personalization. So for the first time, you can put a logo or design on your screen that is visible when your phone is off, and it disappears when your phone is on, not disrupting your screen view. So it's an interesting play in screen protection. It's really a huge market, but it's been archaic. There's been no innovation. When the cases and every other piece of mobile phone accessories are becoming customized and personalized, we haven't seen that in screen protection. So Clay and I are bringing that to market. And then the icing on the cake is that we're officially licensed within the NFL, the NBA, the NHL, Sanrio, and different brands that fans love. So it's a cool product.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's funny, the privacy piece of it. It's something that I frankly haven't seen very much. But to your point, it's one of those things that is absolutely necessary. Especially phones we just keep getting bigger, right? Bigger and bigger and bigger. And so privacy is a big part of it. People can read text messages and emails and all that stuff. And I think the licensing part of it is huge. We talked a little bit about this before I hopped on the call, but I'll be picking up a Jacksonville Jaguars one. I know that for a fact. I love the brand. Absolutely love it. So awesome. Appreciate the quick overview there. And then if we look at goals and trends, what are you guys working on? What's exciting that you guys are just amped about as we head into the rest of the year and into next year?
Yeah, I'll take this one, Clay. I know last year was really like our big moment for the company. It was very pivotal. We built our own infrastructure, which you guys are actually a critical component of, right? Our industry is very SKU heavy. You add in licenses, it makes it even more of a mess. So we really focused on building our infrastructure last year, building our own custom software to automate production and our end-to-end order management of our process. So we're printing screens on demand now, and that's really put us in a position to scale, which we will scale with you guys. And we're really excited about the connection you guys built for us with Zagg. The EDI integration into Fanatics, which we're really, really excited for.
It's great. Yeah. It's the more channels, the better, right? Especially if it's very niche and it fits what you guys are looking for, that you're looking into. So excited to hear about all that. And I think that the world is becoming so connected. We were talking about this a lot, where the possibilities are just really limitless from a technology standpoint. And it really is about that innovation, automation, and the print on demand element of it, instead of sitting on 100 quantity, something that's just like, all right, well, when are these orders going to come through? You can really meet the demand as it rises. And of course, we know that's what's going to happen, right?
Even on the logistics end of it, like being able to, fulfill, right? And with you guys and being able to connect to those endpoints and us controlling that also means, more margin for us in that not adding their hand. So it's really cool.
Awesome. No, that's fantastic. And I think usually we look at tech stack and things like that. You've already mentioned a handful of them. I know we're connected to Shopify right now, obviously Fanatics, EDI. How has that process really helped you guys out from an EDI standpoint? What are the benefits for the audience that may not be as familiar with the terminology?
I'll take this one, Shaun. It's been huge for us. In this day and age, you have to be able to connect and adapt really quickly. And one thing we've learned, minus the EDI end of things, most companies now, they're not as advanced as you could say a Flxpoint or Screen Skinz as far as our technology stack. So you guys really enable us to connect to some of these companies that aren't, as advanced as us. But our full tech stack, Ben, it's massive. Not only do we leverage you guys, we have Shopify. We use some intermediary software, something called Odoo, which is another one of our manufacturing softwares. And as well, since we are on the shipping end, What enables us to ship orders so fast is orders come in our system, come through Shopify. Our internal systems read and write that order data, which allows us to print. And then we leverage a software called ShipStation, which allows us to ship that order immediately. Everything is pretty seamless. It's fast. And we're able to adapt. If something goes wrong, everything's generally open API, so we can fix it pretty quickly. If it's something with you guys on the EDI end, the customer service team will hop right on it for us.
That's awesome, man. No, I appreciate that, Clay. It's great to see how far things have come, right? EDI is kind of this ancient term, which is why I wanted to talk about it a little bit. A lot of people hear that and they're like, wait, what? But it's funny to me how much of the world still really runs on it, right? And how far it's come from an API standpoint. So that's fantastic. Awesome. Well, I appreciate the overview there. And then as we look at you mentioned the order process. It's very efficient now. Fulfillment process is very efficient now. Tell me a little bit about what that was like before Flxpoint.
Yeah, I can take the first part of that, Clay. I know you're going to dive deep into it, but before, working with Flxpoint, we were integrating through our 3PR third-party logistics partner through a app called Syncy. So for us, it was great, right? Because we didn't have to fulfill and print orders, right? We kind of licensing that out. But still from the internal work we had to do, the manual work we had to do, we had to manually push the order over into his flow, his workflow for him to even receive the order and to ship the order out. So I know for Clay and the team over there, that became really nuanced. It really became annoying at a certain point. And again, the main thing was doing that. We also were still losing margin. So it wasn't as efficient for us when you look at really just the operations of it.
Mm.
Yeah, Shaun hit it perfect. Everything was manual. That's one thing Flxpoint enables us to do is everything's pretty seamless. It flows through quickly. Whereas some of our previous tech stack stuff, there used to be hour, 2 hour delay between orders going through systems, which isn't super efficient, long term. And sometimes orders, they get missed just because you manually have to click all the little check boxes and stuff and make sure they get processed through. So it was always fun, but now we're excited to be where we're at with you guys.
Man, it's complete 360.
Yeah,
that's great. Yeah, that's obviously we love to hear it, right? That's really the for one of the primary points of Flxpoint, why we exist, is just to help the manual process, and it really does come down to. Glad you touched on it. It's error, right? Stuff gets missed, and then of course as you grow, right, it just adds to that. It's like that one thing that this used to be a nuisance to a certain extent, and now it's like we can't manage it, right? We either got to bring on new people, and then of course that hurts profit margins as well, depending on what you're doing. Growth is great, but if you can do it at scale and automate everything, and then of course, look at bringing on additional team members when you're ready for it and the time's right, as opposed to just we were not managing this efficiently. So I'm just super pumped we were able to help you guys with that, and happy to hear things are moving really smoothly today. So that's great. And then how much time do you think the order process would take you? Like if we were to look at time savings and what it is now versus what it was. I know Shaun, you mentioned it's 360. Doesn't have to be exact, but just kind of curious.
At least a couple hours. Now it's pretty much, now you're within a 20-minute window from when orders placed. Not even 20 minutes. That's just probably the max amount of time before it's in our system, and then our team's able to print it and ship it, within that time window.
Yeah, but also the way that we're connected to you guys and to our partners, right? No one's having to push that button to push that order over. So it's coming into our regular workflow. So we're not even worried about it. It's coming in and it's coming in. But like Clay said, it's saving us hours. I think we're probably 10, 15 minutes, but I think for us, again, that process is just so streamlined now that we don't really pay attention to the time because it's just baked into our regular kind of order flow.
That's awesome. I love that quote. Don't really even need to pay attention to the time, and I think that's part of it too. It's drop balls and communication and, am I going to let this partner down, and I've got to go chase this other thing down. So that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, tell me about how you guys found Flxpoint. The journey that led you from, hey, we need to look into an automation. Sounds like obviously we know why we need to look at automation, right? It got to a point where it was like, all right, we got to fix this thing. But what led you to Flxpoint? What other solutions did you look at? What were the main things that ultimately led to this awesome partnership?
When we were looking at kind of how we would kind of shift the business and take over that Fanatics business. So we were looking at different partners and we didn't know if you guys were capable of it or not. So I remember we were talking to the CLC, Collegiate Licensing Company, and I believe that you guys worked with Affinity, the Greek company. What they did was they were like, oh, this company that we work with, Flxpoint, I sent it over to Clay. Clay does all of his, his nerding out, going to check everything. And he said, oh, like this is going to be cool. This is something that we can use. So we instantly, saw the value there. And then I think what pushed it over the hump was then at the same time, we were going through kind of like how we would be able to support Zagg in our partnership. And that's what really pushed it over the line because you guys not only made it easy for us, you made it easy for them once we kind of did like the trial and kind of went through everything. So from there, it was pretty easy. But Clay, what was the other company that we looked at again? And it really wasn't, they had some solutions, but not everything we needed.
I was trying to think of the name. I couldn't think of it. When Ben said, what are their companies? But there was another one we looked at, but their systems weren't as robust. Like they weren't super flexible in what they could build for us. And as you can see, we're a pretty custom product. And so everything we build is kind of custom. That's kind of why working with you guys is great because we can come and say, hey, we want to do X. And the team will look at it and be like, oh, well, we don't know if we can do that, but let's see what we can do. And, ultimately we chose you guys. So it's been awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. No, that's the approach we take. It's in the name. We always joke, right? Not to get all punny, but Flxpoint was started because it's a flexible point for you. It's like an entry way to whatever path you're looking for. Our team, I love that about the Flxpoint team. We take that approach. We love partners who think the same way. Where it's if it's possible, we'll find a way, right? Like we don't believe in no-win situations, and we rarely ever say, can't be done. Let's go poke some holes and see what shakes loose. So that's awesome.
It's like having an in-house dev team, right? Like when we go to you guys again, like we're a startup, we're gritty, we're trying to figure out things on the fly. And I think that's what also makes you guys unique. It's kind of like a lot of your team has gotten into the ring with us and figured out solutions, which I think is really cool. Again, a lot of our builds are custom builds, right? Like some companies may not even look to say, oh, we can even offer that. Like you guys went, looked at the different options and provided them to us to make those things happen. So I think just as a startup, being able to work with a company like you guys that are agile and nimble enough to do that as well has been an extra value add when we look at the partnership.
That's awesome feedback, Shaun. And that's exactly, we talk about that, our team that way internally, and we love entrepreneurship, right? We love e-commerce. That's really how we got this start. We're super passionate about it, pretty much everybody. And I can tell you guys are exactly the same, right? And so when you have that kind of love for it, we hear someone that needs to build an EDI connection to Fanatics, and immediately we're like, heck yeah, like we love Fanatics. Let's do that,
You're around the corner, right?
You're in Jacksonville, yeah.
We're in Jacksonville, right around the corner from us. We're all football fans, so all sports fans, Star Wars. If I was in my home office, you'd see all the episodes 1 through 6 behind me, posters and stuff. So, it's an awesome experience when you meet like-minded individuals that make great partners and have share the similar passion for this kind of stuff, and then you get some brilliant developers in place and start problem solving. You're bound to find something. So I'm glad it worked out that way. It's an awesome story, awesome journey. Appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. And as we look at the onboarding process, what was that like working with the onboarding team and the developers? And I know on the integration side, our head of integrations has been really involved with it. But can you share a little bit about that process?
Yeah, definitely. It was a little slow at first, especially on my end because new softwares, got to learn them. But Andrew really took point on that end for us, and it was fantastic. It came with a couple hurdles just because we have a ginormous catalog of designs and stuff. So everything we want to do, it comes in stages. But the team was great. We got through it, and then now we're about to experience that stuff with what we're doing on the EDI side of things. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Happy to hear that. The team's been helpful so far, and we're excited to continue working, obviously, as we explore new, different channels and things like that. All right. And then next one, I mean, you guys have been using the platform for a little bit now. I know we're still in the works with a couple of the other integrations, but what's the experience been like for you so far from a platform standpoint? I mean, does everything work like you want it to? Is there anything that we could improve? Always looking for feedback.
Yeah, I can take this one, Shaun.
Yeah.
I guess the only thing I'd love to improve is the invoicing side of things. That is one area. I know it's tough, but being able to automate or like synchronize invoices and batch them would be really awesome. But from an order standpoint, it's flowed pretty quickly. There's been very little issues with our catalog. It took me some time to figure out, building products, unlinking them, how to go from our channel to their channel, like by myself without like the team helping me. But once I figured that out, now it's easy. I can do it in 10 minutes, not even 10 minutes, just go in, filter my products by category or whatever, and then send them across to whoever they need to go to.
Awesome. No, it's great to hear. On the invoicing side, it's interesting you say that. I mean, we've got some accounting system connections. We do purchase order and invoice automation to some extent, but it's funny that you call that out specifically. I've spent a decent amount of my time in AP automation, SaaS, and fintech. So the invoice world and the accounts payable world, I'm super familiar with. So we're always looking to improve on that. So stay tuned. We'll have more. Obviously, we've all got some ideas. We're constantly iterating, but great feedback. Next question I have is on the support side of things. We touched on it a little bit with onboarding and just the team's approach in general. But how do you guys feel about working with the team? Is there anyone in particular? And you called out Andrew, anyone in particular that you work with that you had excellent service? Anything we can do to improve on that side?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've worked with pretty much most of the team over there, right? When you talk about Mike, Ryan, Elena, like the whole team has been really great for us. Like I said, like we've been nimble. And I think that you guys reciprocated that, and kind of when we're trying to figure out things and look at how we can, again, build these custom integrations, or how can we better support our partners. And when you talk about even going above and beyond, like Mike, they're happy to get on calls with our partners to even help those guys understand how to use the software on their end as they connect into us. So I think that's been, very crucial for us. And then again, like I said, the team just being dynamic and finding solutions. Like if we come with a problem, which isn't like a problem in per se, right? But it's a problem in sense like, hey, we need to get into Salesforce Commerce Cloud. How do we do it? Or again, we need to build this EDI. How do we do it? Like the team is very responsive, proactive on those as well. And I think that's what makes the partnership really click and work, because not only is it helping us, but it's also putting us in a position to best support our partners and even go get more, omni-channel partners as well. So I think for us, that's really the other benefit when you look at it all. Like I said, just getting in the ring with us, but just, equipping us to best support our partners and just walking through the whole process with us with that, proactiveness and just being happy to build and create things together.
Absolutely. No, that's great feedback, Shaun. And I can tell you that our team feels the exact same way about working with you guys. I Set and Mike and anyone else I've talked to light up. They go, Shaun and Clay are fantastic. We love Screen Skinz. It's just been a great opportunity. So, working with good people is one of the best parts about business in general. But obviously, it's something that you're just so happy when you get when those opportunities come up, and it's a great fit. So happy to hear that everything went well.
I said jumps on the calls. Like I'll call her, just ping her, call her. Like you can always tell she's smiling and happy. Like she's just like, oh, what is Shaun calling me about now? But she figures it out for me, and she's been just a wonderful person to work with.
I appreciate that. I know exactly what you're talking about. Every interaction I set some bright spots. So unfortunately, that applies for the whole team. We've got it. We've got a great team over here. So that's awesome. Well, I think the next one, if tips and tricks, what have you learned with Flxpoint? If someone else was considering trying to do something like you guys have done, obviously not the same, but or partnering with us, do you have any tips and tricks or recommendations for them?
Oh man,
all the tips and tricks over there, huh?
Yeah, segment depending on the size of your catalog, segment your catalog accordingly. For us, Ben, I'll explain it. We have to develop. So, like, we have a massive catalog, but we also have to develop our catalog for our partners specifically. because each partner has different needs. Zagg needs something packed a certain way. Fanatics does. It needs to be shipped a certain way. So we've developed our catalog to be super, super segmented. And I highly recommend it because that way in Flxpoint and what you're doing, you can filter through like your catalog and your segmentation super easily. Now, if everything was just jumbled together, right, and they're all the same SKUs, they're like everything feels the same, or like everything is the same, the titles, SKUs, or any tags, it'd be super, super, super difficult to find out what product is going where and how it's flowing. So that would be my number one tip and trick, is just segment your catalog the best you can.
Yeah,
That's a really good one.
Yeah, I would add, I would just, refer vendors to you guys, right? Like in the license space, I think that with what we're doing with Fanatics, I think that's going to open it up now as a solution for you guys. And I think that other licensees that are, on the Shopify's, the BigCommerces, the platforms that they're on, that traditionally may have looked at an EDI solution that may not have fit their workflow or what they were doing. This just will make it 10 times a lot more easier and efficient, and get you in front of the audience that you need to be in front of.
That's a great point too, Shaun.
I do want to add on that. Shaun did hit something. The workflow is so important. How your company runs and operates is super, super super, super critical. And what a lot of like APIs and EDIs that you have to do, like you kind of have to adapt to what they're doing. Whereas working with Flxpoint and you guys, it just flows into our normal everyday flow, right? Yeah. Like we aren't having to change our production process because, we're connecting to someone else now. It's literally, order comes in, we see the SKU, we see the name of it, we know who it is, where it's going. It's super, super easy. So it saves us a lot of time, and I'm sure it saves us a lot of money too without us, having to change everything on our back end.
Yeah, it just aids into the main thing that most companies like us want to achieve, right? That's operational efficiency. When it comes down to it, is really operational efficiency. And I think that that's the biggest thing that you guys can do for anyone in this space. So if you're out there and you're looking to connect, yeah, I would recommend Flxpoint.
That's incredible. I didn't see the story, that piece of the story and the recommendations. I absolutely love hearing it. It's something that I think automation companies, I'm using air quotes over here, I think a lot of times automation companies are like, yeah, we're going to automate like these 5 things in these 5 ways, right? And a lot of times people have to go, well, that's not like, it's reinventing my workflow. It's reinventing my business, right? And in some cases, maybe that works, but we don't really think that the one size fits all approach works for most businesses, right? We think it's extremely important for you to say, look, our workflow is what it is because of XYZ reasons, and we really can't adjust it. And a lot of times that's partner dictated, it's tech stack dictated, it's all kinds of stuff. And you guys are trying to, to make it all work and connect together, and we want to be able to match that and improve it if we can. So It's great to hear that was, it was a solution that worked for you guys. Awesome. Well, guys, this has been great. I think we're getting to the end here. Sadly, I could keep talking to you guys for the next 45 minutes to an hour at least. I think we got a lot of stuff. We just nerd out about passion projects and e-commerce in general. But I think the next one, you guys already answered what would you say to companies that are considering Flxpoint? I think as we look at the industry in general, and we talked a little about this before we started the recording, but what do you guys see in the next, I don't know, call it 3 to 5 years that companies should be looking out for or considering? What are the trends for you? I know you guys have a ton of experience in this space. I know, again, you're really passionate about it. So I'd love to get your thoughts there.
Yeah, I know for me, I think one of the biggest trends I'm looking at, again, like my background is, sports business. I come from the collegiate fundraising space and generating revenue to support athletic programs. And I think that as like all of these NIL things and a lot of things are coming out and schools are having to be nimble as well and not think how they thought before, I think that being able to control your own store, control your own marketplace and connect out to vendors to maximize your revenue is going to be that next big turning stone, I think, really in licensing. Because again, I think that, like you said, there's kind of like a one box fits all right now. So it's very hard for people to be flexible and adjust to things where it's just kind of just like, no, it's not going to happen. But now with the way the industry is moving and these APIs, these connections, different endpoints, is going to really open up the industry where people can, again, maximize, their likeness, their merchandise, their IP, through these type of solutions. And I think that's what really is going to happen in the industry.
Makes sense. No, I love it. That's great. And I'm what everything we've seen, I mean, 100%. That's the way things are going. And I think people that are looking at getting ahead of the times, right, before they're here and trying to beat us in the competition, that's certainly the stuff they're going to be thinking about.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Clay, anything you wanted to add on that one?
I did. I want to speak a little bit more from the manufacturing perspective. Where the state is, the U.S., a lot of things are coming back, here from a manufacturing standpoint. So manufacturing automation is critical. It's key. We have to be able to manufacture at scale on demand. And I think a lot of companies fail to do that the past, you could say 5 to 8 years. They don't have the infrastructure or system to do this. And now it's costing them hundreds of thousands of dollars. You're spending, especially if you're going to develop your own internal systems. You're looking upwards of $1 million, if you really, really want to do it right. So it's adapting, being quick, and then try and hone in on your cost of goods as much as possible, because, to speak what Shaun said, if these companies or these people, whoever, they want to build these marketplaces, you have to be able to connect to them to drive revenue. Especially, as a manufacturer, our biggest thing is not acquiring a customer, you could say, on a DTC side of things. So you're not having to pay for that. So you need to maximize your volume at that point. And that's key. Automation is the key to maximizing your volume. So like you guys, you come right into our flow. Everything's automated. Shaun doesn't have to touch it. I don't have to touch it. It's literally an order slip, and that's it. And that's all we want. We want it to be quick and efficient. So.
Yeah, and those order slips are coming in from 2-3 different partners, as well as our own DTC. Yeah. So that's what we love about it.
Yep, that's awesome. No, it makes total sense. And I think I love the way you guys are doing it. Love the business model. Love the product, as I mentioned. Love the brand. Can't wait to see where you guys go. Obviously, we'll grow with you, and I can't wait to see where you go in the next 3 to 5 years. I'm dead serious about picking up a Jags. You'll see an order come through from Ben Frank one of these days soon. I promise.
We'll give you free screen protectors for life.
Yeah, we got you.
I appreciate it, guys. Anything else to share with the audience before we end for today?
Go get a Screen Skinz with your company on it or your favorite sports team.
Yeah, 100%. Check out Screen Skinz, guys. 100%. They're awesome. The privacy piece of it, I promise it's probably something you have not seen before. So got a lot of cool options. Obviously, constantly developing more. So. Appreciate it, guys. Shaun, Clay, this was absolutely phenomenal. Really appreciate your time today. Hope you guys have an awesome week. We'll be in touch. And to the rest of the audience, happy selling.
Crazy. Thank you.